It away. Hi, everybody. Again, thank you so much. And yes, please visit the YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, Jonathan Lichtenstein, he has a full interview on the YouTube channel. We spent some time with him talking about different directions and markets, and very, very interesting, very engaging. So yeah, encourage you to visit the YouTube channel. And let me introduce Jonathan to you. So Jonathan Lichtenstein, he is a Chief Operating Officer at Location Real Estate, Location with a K. And Jonathan's company is in I believe it's in 5 or 6 states, and it's mostly in Florida. Very successful, very dynamic, and most importantly, I was at one of Beach's MLS presentations, and Jonathan was talking about ChatGPT, and I thought, yes, that is something that's a must to be on my talk show for Jonathan to share, because he wasn't just saying how great ChatGPT was, he was also talking about what to stay away from. So let's take it away, Jonathan.
Thanks, Lucy. Appreciate you, and everyone, thank you for attending. Do you want me to jump in and just share my presentation?
Yes,
here?
Please.
So right. I'm going to move really quickly because this is an hour-and-a-half kind of presentation that we're going to just get down and give you guys the real meat and potatoes of this. You should be able to see my screen at this point, correct?
Yes, and please ask questions, okay?
Absolutely. If you throw your question in the chat, I will see it pop up. I have it on the left side of my screen here, but let's jump right in. So what is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is a worldwide phenomenon. It is a revolution that is changing the way that people can interact and leverage artificial intelligence as common folk. We don't have to be developers, programmers, go through degrees in coding on front end and back end and full stack development. We can use it in our everyday lives for things that you might have thought that you just had to do it. It was just part of the industry, part of your profession to roll through and do it on your own. But ChatGPT can eliminate 70, 80, 90% of the time intensity that goes into completing this project. So let's start with where it came from. ChatGPT is the fastest program in the history of the world, not the United States, the world, to reach 100 million users. Until Threads came out not too long ago, but Threads quickly dissipated and ChatGPT stays strong. ChatGPT grew so much faster than household names like Netflix, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok even, to that higher echelon of usage, and it continues to do so. But in our areas in North America, United States and Canada, and just the basic geographic area, only accounted for 12.36% of that 100 million users. So you think about the entire world and how much our population relates to the rest of the world, and a very small portion of it actually came from the United States. So there is still so many people who just don't know and don't understand the intelligence and the power that sits behind it. So fastest program in the history of the world. What is it? ChatGPT. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Essentially, in layman's terms, it is a gigantic knowledge database of everything that was available on the internet to the public, meaning without a login and a password, you could access and search for it on one page or another. And it archived billions of pages of content into this knowledge database. This knowledge database is acceptable by anyone who logs into ChatGPT, whether the free version or the plus version, which is $20 a month, that we'll jump into. But starting from there, it just accesses all of this information in milliseconds in natural language processing methods. Natural language processing means it communicates with you like a human being. Imagine ChatGPT is your marketing assistant that sits right next to you. You can speak to it and type to it as if you would a human being next to you. You know, we've had AI components in our world for years, whether you like to acknowledge that or not. Amazon Alexa, Siri on your iPhone, the Google Assistant, Cortana on your Microsoft computer. All of these are AI components that you've already been using and don't really understand the back end of it. But the difference between ChatGPT and these platforms is, I'm sure you've noticed when you speak to Siri on your phone, you have to say things in a certain way. You can't have it conform to how you want to speak. You must conform the way that you address it. Like, hey Siri, send a message to so-and-so saying this. Okay, you've programmed yourself to say it that way. With ChatGPT, you don't have to do that. You can speak to it like it's a human being, and it will get that information, digest it, and try to understand what you're attempting to say. Now, where that natural language processing is truly so powerful comes in translations. I just spoke with a commercial agent this morning who has a property in Miami for redevelopment. All the inquiries are coming in Spanish, and she does not speak 3 words of Spanish. I think she knows cerveza and baño, which are like staples when you go to Mexico, right? So on her side, she doesn't know how to communicate with them, and she was using Google Translate. If you've used Google Translate to translate, it's word for word, very literal, and doesn't kind of take the overall syntax of the sentence to make sense. So it's very clear to someone who is a native speaker of that language that you don't speak that language. But ChatGPT with the natural language interacts with you in a conversational manner. So if you type a sentence in there and say, translate this to Spanish, French, Portuguese, Russian, Chinese, and Hebrew, it's going to spit all of those out in conversational language that you could send back to someone. And I challenge you, they're going to believe that you speak that language because it's that good. I tell this story all the time. I have one agent who completed an entire transaction in Russian with text messages and emails back and forth. The buyer came to the closing table and assumed and thought he spoke Russian. And this is a guy who speaks 2 languages, English and hillbilly. So Russian was not on that list, but yet they all got it. Skipping through a little bit here. So free and plus, there's 2 different ways to utilize it. Anyone can access the free plan, use it. It'll probably be sufficient for the vast majority of us realtors in the industry. The plus version just gives you a little bit more. The plus version allows you to have access not contingent on how busy their servers are. It does respond a little faster. It also gives you access to GPT-4, which is a newer iteration of the manner in which it digests and changes the information and analyzes things on a creative platform. 3.5 is the version that you get both on the free side and the faster version on the plus side. But the biggest impact on my side of what I believe is all the integrations. If you're going to dive in and you want to use AI and leverage ChatGPT on your website, in your CRM, maybe a different technology platform you're planning to service your consumers or your agents if you're a broker, you will need GPT Plus to do all those integrations. It opens up a whole new level of things that you can do. I have one agent that uses a Microsoft Excel integration with ChatGPT that every day it populates new content and new subject lines, email content, and touch points for text messages that connect to his CRM and auto feed out to all of his contacts in his database dependent on the tag. So you've got some interesting capabilities that you could do there if you really dive in on the more technical side of things. But let's talk about a few of the things that agents are using ChatGPT for right now. And
Jonathan, I just wanted to get very quickly the response from the first call, if you don't mind.
Let's go ahead and share that with everybody.
Yeah. So look at that. So we have 44% who tried. That is amazing. But then 41 who haven't. So please learn from Jonathan today. Thank you.
Victor had a comment in the chat. I'll just address real quick. According to Tony Robbins, NLP means neuro-linguistic programming. I bet NLP means about 50 things in the world and used in different acronyms. According to AI and ChatGPT, NLP in this context is natural language processing. Just like R&R might mean 2 different things to people, B2B, P2P. All of these different things can have different acronyms that translate for the context in which it's being applied. You guys can still see my screen, right?
Yes.
All right, let's jump into a few ways. So what I've done for you guys is kind of gone over some major utilizations that agents are using ChatGPT for and ran a quick scenario so you can see how it interacts. Now, there's different ways that you can interact with ChatGPT. You can either be the rapid consumer, which is firing a question, firing a task, and expecting or knowing what's going to come back and then modifying it from there. Another method is utilizing crafted prompts. Anytime you ask a question to ChatGPT, it is called a prompt. There are more crafted prompts that are more intricate and detailed as to the information you're putting in so that it structures and comes back in a certain way. You can tell ChatGPT to interact with you a certain way like that. One of the prompts that I commonly use says, ChatGPT, I don't know what I want to ask you. Help me figure out what I should ask you. So I'm going to give you a topic, then ask me questions so we can more detailed refine that prompt until we reach a final prompt that is more well-rounded to what my actual question should be. Then you can answer it. So I'm telling it to help me figure out how I can be more effective in using it itself, which is kind of an interesting task. Like, tell me how I can use you better, right? So throwing that prompt in there allows me to work with the system itself and craft something that's more well-rounded. What I'm showing you in these demos, in these samples, is no prompt, straight consumer usage. I'm just asking questions or giving tasks. So jumping right in, social media is a massive utilization of ChatGPT. Content creation, from creating the caption to creating the actual idea of the piece itself, are very, very powerful. A common question I get back from people is, well, if I ask for 10 social media posts, won't they give the same ideas to somebody else? And that's incorrect. There is no human way, there's no possible way that you and me are going to ask the same question in the same way with the same historical interaction. What I mean by that is, as you're interacting with ChatGPT within your profile, it is learning from you. It's learning the mannerisms in which you speak. It's learning some of the information and content that you have created within the platform. So it gets smarter and smarter as you go through. If you have never used it before, I want you to go into ChatGPT and ask it to write a bio about you. Unless you have a massive public persona and your information was available online prior to September 2021, you're not going to have anything really valuable come back to you. But as you continue to work through it, if you give ChatGPT information about you, it's then later on going to be able to tell you. For example, in the beginning, I didn't have a bio, but if I go ask it right now, it writes me 6 paragraphs because it's archived all the information I've provided to it through time. And now it knows so much more about me, what I do, and the business interactions that I have with it. So it gets smarter and smarter the more you use it. In this scenario I have in front of you right now, it's simply content creation ideas. Again, the more you put in, the more you will get out. So give me 10 Instagram or Facebook or TikTok posts for a realtor in blank area. That's about as generic as I could possibly be. The more info you give it, the better. If you have a certain market area, even down to the name of the neighborhood or the farming area. If there's a certain building that you farm, ChatGPT has all that information inside of it. So I challenge you. What are some of the features of this community? What are some of the features of this building? And you're going to be dumbfounded as what it can come back and give you that is relative and accurate. The biggest piece of advice I can ever give anyone using this is go against your natural tendency as a realtor. And when the information comes out, read it. You have to read it. You are responsible for the information you put out. Do not blindly trust what is going out. You must read it and understand that you are the person that is posting this. Now you've got those 10 ideas, but let's say you want to create a video that comes along with it. You can have it provide you video content ideas. Well, that's great, Jonathan. You gave me these video content ideas. Now I have to produce a video. I have to write a script. No, you don't. Ask it to write the script for you. It will give you everything frame by frame exactly of what it is structuring you to create a video. Everything from intro to music and your logo. Realtor says this, cut to footage and overview of local businesses and an aerial shot goes into realtor, cut to footage of a specific property. It's literally going frame by frame, telling you what to go through in order to produce this video. So it's giving you the content idea, the caption, and the video concept and script all together. It is simplifying the creativity that you need to have. Now, again, don't take this word for word, use it as a guide and build it out from there. Going further in, writing an MLS description is incredibly efficient. If the property was publicly marketed prior to September 2021, you can simply ask the question with the address. And that's what I've done here. This is actually my childhood home in Northern Virginia. So I simply asked for an address, write an MLS description for this property address, and it spit out this one paragraph. Pretty impressed. It did have some of the home features. It knew the square footage. It knew the size of the home, how many bedrooms, etc. And it had specific features. Again, the more you put in, the better it will be. No one knows the highlights and the selling features of this home better than you as the listing agent. So again, the more you put in, the better it will be.
I just would like to add that it is also up to you. Like, for example, for me, when I do my videos and I need to create a nice, sexy title, I just say, please give me a short title, and I give the description, and it gives me really cool titles. And the same thing, I will say, please give me 500 words on such and such topic. And then I will feed the information, what topic it's about, and it will give me just my 500 words. So it doesn't have to be long or short. You can program it in advance to have the length needed.
And
Thank you, Jonathan.
speaking of which, let's see what everyone uses ChatGPT for these days.
Property descriptions, yes. Social posts, website content. Interesting.
Absolutely.
Okay. So there's a couple Q&As, a couple questions in there. May I go ahead and address those?
Absolutely.
All right. Jennifer asked, what about a product like the answer is Jasper AI actually leverages an integration with ChatGPT. So you're using the same thing in a different format. You are using the exact same technology, the exact same language, the same interaction in a different window. So that's a pretty interesting aspect. It's like saying Windows or Mac. Which one is better? It's whatever is more appropriate for you, whatever is more comfortable for you. But in the end, they're computers that do pretty much the same thing. Raj asked, MLS description has a word limit. You can ask it to have a certain number of characters, certain number of words, certain number of pages, paragraphs, etc., and limit that text based on specifications that you placed into it. So great question. A few higher level reasons. We'll go into that in the end, actually. So writing an email to your database. Jasper, there was a question in the chat, Jasper.ai. Jasper is another AI platform that appears and presents itself as being a different alternative to ChatGPT. However, it is ChatGPT in a different format. The back end of Jasper leverages an integration with ChatGPT, so you're still using it, just in a different appearing window. Okay, we're always looking for reasons to stay in front of our database. The average realtor has 400 contacts in their database. So crafting an email of something that happened. Maybe there's a music festival, a new restaurant, a new building going under construction. Maybe they just opened up a new set of units at a DR Horton project or a Lennar project, and you want to hit your contacts. Instead of sitting there at the computer and saying, okay, I want to tell my people this, but what do I say? What's going to be effective? Save yourself some time and have ChatGPT craft the initial email, modify it and read it as you're going through, and poof, send it out. It will be more creatively and well written than anything that you and I can come up with simply sitting here and typing it up. I promise you that one. 10 blog posts. Blogs are a massive utilization. This is the #1 thing I do every single day on ChatGPT. We craft a blog article leveraging SEO keywords for specific topics that we're looking for, and it will pump out a blog post for you every single day. In fact, you don't have to go in every day. There are a few integrations that will auto create and even email you a new blog post to use every single day. Now, the way I leverage those is posting that blog onto the website, of course, as well as using it for a Google My Business article. That's a whole separate conversation, but using a Google My Business article is tremendously effective on search engine optimization and being found. Think about this. If you're a realtor in Chicago and someone searches for real estate in Chicago, there's always that 3-pack of vendors that show up on the right side through Google Maps. Those are Google My Business locations that are combining your search keywords and your geographic GPS location of where you're accessing the internet. It pushes up higher people, it pushes up vendors higher and businesses higher based on relative content. The more content you put in there, like these temporary articles, the higher up you will rank on that page. Pat asked a question on how to start a blog. That's definitely a convo for a different day. Steve Freeman, as AI learns, will it integrate information created after 2021? Steve, that's a fantastic question. So as of right now, as of about 6 weeks ago, ChatGPT only took you through May 2021, and they had another information or data release. So you now have up through September 2021. It will keep progressing more and more as they continue to archive information to that knowledge base. However, there are plugins available that allow you to go live searching, like through a Bing integration. And that would be specifically with the Plus version, the Pro version. Okay, so that's that information for you. Now,
and Jonathan, someone was asking about the about ChatGPT website. Do you have it handy?
Yeah, the website is chat.openai.com. Chat.openai.com. If you're having issues with how the display or the screen share is presenting, make sure you zoom out. It's very easy in Zoom to kind of scroll in a little bit and it'll cut it off for you. I am sharing full screen. I can't get any bigger than that. So you may have to zoom in or zoom out to see everything. So there's that. Now, a way that you can kind of circumvent and work around that September 2021 restriction is give ChatGPT the information that you want it to use. Okay. For example, I constantly take news articles that come out from Inman, NAR, Florida Realtors, various other real estate sources, and I take that information, copy that whole article and paste it into ChatGPT and say, use this article, use this information for my next question. Then I'll ask my question. Give me three talking points, create me a video script to share with my consumers about this article. What are the top 3 main important pieces to take away from this article? And let it digest that. Now take that same concept and apply that to market statistics. You can copy and paste a historical market statistics, a spreadsheet, an Excel sheet, or just copying and pasting the text, and ask it to provide you stats and trends and just regurgitate that information to you in a way that you can leverage it with consumers. There's a lot of power in here to save yourself time and work.
So does it mean, Jonathan, that, so the question is, how do we know that SEO words to use for a local area blog? So that kind of helps you to pick the right words?
Yeah, so that comes from a different source. If you ask ChatGPT which are the more trending SEO keywords for your specific demographic or your industry or your business, it's not really going to be super accurate because the information is only up through September 2021. We're almost 2 years antiquated on those. Those SEO keywords are not going to be relevant from what's happening today, especially hashtags. Hashtags change day to day, so that will not be relevant. What I would do is take an article, copy that, paste that article regarding up-to-date SEO information, and have it leverage those for writing the blog article that you're creating. Again, it's take it, give ChatGPT information that it's missing, or leverage that Bing search integration. I've never really had an issue. I take different SEO articles, I'll paste that in, and I'll give it my own keywords and where I would like to appear. So you've got a little bit there. Sacha's question, will the use of ChatGPT lead to reduced human intellectual capabilities and creativity? There's different opinions on that one. Where I see a big issue is with our kids and their education. My 10th grader, my high school kid, is attempting to answer his homework through ChatGPT. The problem is that it's correct. The great part is that it's correct. You hope that they would learn from that information, but I pity the teachers in today's day and age, as there are so many tools out there, they would never know that it was AI generated, an essay, a paper, anything. It's just, there's so much that can be created. And I'll give you a hint. This presentation I'm showing you was completely created by ChatGPT. All I had to do is paste my screenshots in it.
Oh, by the way, can we have, I had a question there, if you will be sharing the presentation with the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to. I can share the main prompt that I use, the interaction prompt that I mentioned earlier, as well as the presentation for you.
Thank you. And just to bring a little joke in, my husband, when he saw that I'm using ChatGPT, he said, first you start using calculator, and now you don't know how to add and subtract. And today you're using ChatGPT, and you will forget how to write. So yeah.
It's a crazy world we live in, but you can embrace it or you can be eliminated. That's my opinion.
Right.
Two more questions before I go on. Question one from Maziar. I'm using ChatGPT based on GPT 3.5. How can I use the latest version to be more updated? There is no more update. There is not more of an update that is in there. The data is the data, regardless of which portal you're accessing it through. Whether that's the free, the plus, or the Jasper AI integration is all relative to September 2021. The second question, are there any cool plugins that we can add to our browser to make it easier to use? Yeah, there's a lot of them. George, would you mind throwing in the chat? There's a website I want to point everybody to. It's called There's an AI for that.com. TheresanAI for the word that.com. So this is a compilation of over 7,000 various artificial intelligence platforms, some leveraging ChatGPT, some on their own independently, that give you a tip or an idea of use this one for that use case. So there's, it's actually THERE.
Oh, sorry about that.
I just threw it to you. I think only you can get it, and then you can paste it. There you go. So great website. If you want to find an AI solution for doing something, it's a great place to search for it. ChatGPT is not the end all be all. There are thousands and thousands of utilizations. I mean, we were just speaking about one before I jumped on this call, right, George?
That's right.
VHT is coming out, excuse me, Matterport is coming out with an AI component end of this year, first quarter next year, somewhere in that timeline, called Genesis. And what it can do is you get your photos and your photography and your virtual tour from them. And once you're going in and you're looking at it, maybe you don't like the decor, maybe you don't like the furniture that's in there, and you want to change the style of decoration. There's a toggle at the top of the page to go beachy, luxury, ultra modern, all the different design styles that you can then play around with and let your consumers see and imagine themselves and further visualize themselves with virtual staging inside the home itself. So pretty powerful there. We're always trying to get people to feel like they're inside the unit, and will my furniture fit? How will it look, et cetera, et cetera. We'll take the guessing game away. I did scan over this one on my presentation coming back about writing a bio, as I did mention at the beginning. My example on here about Kenny, NAR's president, he's a public persona. There's tons of information about him available prior to September 2021. And you can see how much information and details it really included without me giving any information. We are not as public facing as he is. So you would have to provide some information for yourself in order to write an effective bio, but it's very creative. It's really nice. So providing local information. This is, again, a time saver. It's not anything that you could not do on your own, but it is something that can save you time. Always had a consumer reach out when they're buying a house and say, great, where are some places I should learn around there? Or how do I change over the utilities? Things like that. I only threw in the address of, again, my childhood home. I wanted to verify accuracy in an area outside my marketplace. So give me a summary of the utility companies that service this home and some activities in the area for children and families. I was able to, number one, get all of the companies that service these utilities, contact information, but also a list of top 5 parks, which is cut up on the bottom there, and what the promotion or the benefit of each park is, their hours of operation, their contact information, directions to the park from the property address. All of this stuff was populated in milliseconds instead of me sitting there and having to take that farming area local marketplace knowledge we have and typing it all out. It's just a time saver, more information to your consumers in a well-written format with less effort on your side.
Very quick
10,
question. It's a really good question, Jonathan. Can it be integrated with CRM?
Absolutely. There are multiple CRMs that already integrate. If you have an open AI, not the company, an open API, excuse me, with your CRM, you can code it and program it in there yourself. Okay, so yes, it can. Big ones that are out there right now, not endorsing, and I have no affiliation. Chime is really, really big on AI integrations. Really, really big. You'll start typing out an email to a consumer and it'll ask if you want it to be completed with AI. Hit the button, it goes and gives you like a 3-paragraph email in a matter of 5 words that you started typing. I'm pretty impressed with their platform. A few questions. If you paste in the new NAR code of ethics and ask AI to generate a couple of talking points, will AI retain the code of ethics in the system moving forward? Steve, that's a fantastic question, and it can leverage that. So it depends. If you tell it, you paste the code of ethics in there and say, use the rules as applied in here for everything I ask you going forward, or use it for the next question. Let me see if I can just show this to you guys real quick. So on here, you'll see this is the portal of what, can you see my window? Okay.
Yeah, but it's kind of blank.
Yeah, this is blank for the time being. 1 second.
Yeah.
Bear with me. So when you're on the ChatGPT portal, the left side is all of the history of chats that you have had. So if I want to leverage the code of ethics for a temporary amount of time, I can paste that in here. I can just paste it right there. Obviously, you're actually pasting the code of ethics. I just wrote that, but it will save it on the left side. See how it's right up here?
Mm-hmm.
So if I click on that and I delete it, it's no longer going to keep that data for my further questions. So I've removed it from my knowledge database and it's no longer going to be accessible. So that takes care of that right there. I like using it. I like including that in there. So there's a lot of benefits. Chris asked, can I integrate ChatGPT in my own app without their branding? Yes, you can integrate it. It is a little more high level as far as programming and coding goes. So be careful and consult or look up some articles. One piece I'm going to give you, this is kind of a secret one that is not in my presentation. What if a consumer could go on your website and chat with you 24 hours a day without you knowing? You can provide a program called Chatbase, B-A-S-E. Chatbase can accumulate URLs and domains and websites, content from there, any PDFs and Word documents and YouTube videos that you want to upload into its knowledge database. That becomes your personal knowledge database. So any article, tips, blogs, anything you have written to consumers, you can throw into that knowledge database, and it utilizes all of that to chat with you on your website, and you retain that information and make it better and better and better. That's something that I built for the company. I've tried to take my brain and put it into this knowledge database so you can live chat with your broker 24 hours a day, circumstances, situations, scenarios, disputes, what contract, what clause, et cetera, and have access to that 24 hours a day. It's pretty powerful. I did mention this a little bit, so I'm not really going to go further into it, but you can have it digest articles and regurgitate that information for a blog article, a video, a script, any social content, or just touch points that you want to leverage with your consumers. Lucy, I went through that really fast.
Right, and it looks like a lot of interest and you all have my email. Would you please, I'm reaching out to the audience, would you please let me know what is the most interesting thing? Because we have a whole bunch of different questions. Someone is about CRM, someone is about the blog. So if Jonathan agrees to meet with us again, Jonathan, please say yes. I encourage you to email me and let me know how you would like to continue. And then, Jonathan, if you don't mind, I would love to have your presentation, and I will share it with everyone because we're going to send the recording to everyone who registered, and you will and we will attach the presentation itself.
Lucy, what I can do is send you my prompt, the prompt engineer one. I'll send you my contact info. I'll send you the presentation, and I'll send you a couple of the links that I mentioned here today, chat-based, and there's an AI for that. I'll include all of those. And you can share that out. If anyone wants to talk and ask questions and personal advice, reach out. Happy to talk. I love talking tech.
Yeah, and just so you know, Jonathan is in Florida, and you are part of Beaches MLS, right? So you have a CE class that you are teaching on ChatGPT.
Yeah, we operate in 6 states: Florida, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, Texas, and Colorado. And yeah, happy to talk.
All right, Jonathan, thank you again so much for joining us today. Do you have an email address to provide the audience if they'd like to get in touch with you to learn more about today's presentation?
Absolutely. I can include it in the email, but I'll give it to you right now.
Yeah, give it to us now too.
My email is Jonathan, that's JONATHAN, at location with a K, RE.com. George, I just threw that in there.
Thank you.
And I included my Instagram as well, as I interact with a lot of people that way. George is going to populate into the chat with you guys. I don't have that permission on my side.
There we go.
So any questions, any guidance, feel free to reach out, and I'll provide you guys all that info to send to everybody.
So next month on September 27th, we are going to have a Matterport webinar on our Digital Pro Service, how to win listings and attract more buyers. And in October, we have a very exciting guest, Agent Dawn McKenna of the Dawn McKenna Group. And she'll talk about how she built her team from the ground up and now the #4 team in the nation. Look for invites in your inbox soon on those. And you can check out vht.com/learn as well to register.
Yeah, and about Dawn McKenna, it's more about the app that she had created, and she just announced it at Inman, so that it will be more about not really her team, but the app itself.
That's awesome.
And then please email me if you would like, maybe not a repeat, but an addition to what we had today on AI and on ChatGPT.
And with that, I thank you, Jonathan, for joining us. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and please go to youtube.com/Lucy Edwards VHG. So thank you, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Great rest of your day. Thank you.